Ahoy, ahoy! Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV. Since last time, we've gotten both files up to the 71th floor. Save slot 2 isn't doing quite as well as save slot 1, but save slot 2 has Odin, which could come in handy if I run out of time before the boss. So, assuming this recording goes well, we will try to clutch a win here from 71 to 80. This is the 8th floor set in this place. Stocked back up on Ova meatballs for the direct hit. Good stuff. Got plenty of potions this time, so shouldn't be as bad. You want to be careful with these ghosts. You don't want to fight like within one room with them normally, because they'll try to target you with snipes. This is the first set of floors where time, when you're solo at least, even when you're not solo if your luck is bad enough, this is the first set of floors where time starts to really run against you. So you don't want to think too much. You don't want to, you want to be trying to like argue, oh, which way should we go or whatever. If you're with people, you can just stick together. Even if you wind up in a dead end, you're together. And, you know, when you're together, stuff isn't as much of a threat. And if you're alone, you know, just try not to backtrack too much, I guess, would be my thing. I mean, sometimes you don't have a choice, but more often than not, you do have a choice. And as you can see, everything is starting to have a lot more HP. As well as, you know, more dangerous stuff. It's just all, you know, things. And this is where some unconventional thinking can really come in handy. Like, for instance, we can use a witching commander to try to speed up this fight. Of course, he turned into an imp. That's not cool. But now we won't have to disengage for 30 seconds because he won't be able to have access to any of his special abilities. And we can run back and grab that witching that was in the starter room chest at our leisure, which will be right now, because if you're gonna have to backtrack, like try to think of, you know, backtracking in a way that, you know, like it would if you have to backtrack, you know, think about it from a time perspective. Like, hey, if we backtrack right now to grab that witching, we won't have to think about it later, and we won't have to come back that way at all. It looks like there's at least 3 more rooms on this floor, probably more. The Griffins I told you about last time will start showing up, I think, on 74 and above. It might be 75 and above. But, yeah, they're bad news bears when they start showing up. Also, these Steinbocks or whatever, the deer there, be careful when you pull them. If you get directly behind them, they kick you like a mule. And it just happens. There's no telegraph for it. And it causes a severe knockback and high damage. So, like, if you pull one into a room and you run forward to meet it and it runs beyond you, it can actually mule kick you into the room that you did not intend to enter. So, like, you know, just, you know, don't run behind them. Or if you do gotta run behind them, you know, be prepared, you know. Let's see, watch. Oh, we should have done it. Oh, maybe I can't. Once they're positioned, they don't do it, maybe. They will kick you like a mule if you're behind them. You can also see that stuff is doing a lot more damage. It's where steel commanders start to become a premium item. I mean, they were pretty premium last floor set too, because we didn't have any potions. But even now with potions are basically just to survive. Like, potion is to maintain your HP so that you don't, like, if you do take an AoE, which you shouldn't be taking an AoE for any reason other than like lag, then you know, if you're at full HP, you might not die. But most stuff in here is lethal. If it's telegraphed, it's usually lethal, even in the tanks. So. Also, it's a good time to not be greedy, since you don't have as much time to work with, because stuff takes longer to kill. Exploring every room, if you don't have to, like if your Pomander stock is really good, then you don't need to go exploring. You don't need to, you know, enhance the run or, you know, try to, you know. Although, I mean, it doesn't hurt if you can get away with it, but like without aggroing stuff. It's all about minimum kills until you can go up, and it's also a good point to stop completely trusting stun, because you're going to start running into more stun immune creatures. Like, there's still going to be plenty that can be stunned, but if this is your first time up, you know, you might want to either start experimenting with what's stunnable and what's not, or you might want to pull up the guide, the guides that are out there to see, you know, what you can actually stun, what's quote-unquote safe to fight or impossible to fight. You know, just that sort of thing. And basically, except for the boss floor, you want to try to finish each floor within around 6 minutes, because, you know, it's if you can do that, you know, you should be good on time. Obviously, you can't always do that, but, you know. And also, this kind of floor with no abilities, no items, literally impossible for you to do. So just go ahead and use the Serenity. If you don't have a Serenity, just try your best. Although if your Magicite supply is good, you could always use one of those. Unless, of course, you also get the no Magicite debuff. I would say the worst 4 debuffs you can get are either no abilities and no Magicite, or no abilities, no items, or no items, no Magicite. Because that can happen. You can get no items, no Magicite. That means no Pomanders except for Serenity, and no potions. You know, no get out of jail free cards with your Magicite. Oh look, the passage is right there. That's cool. Now we just gotta get the kills. Yeah. It's a good time to not underestimate certain Pomanders. Like, don't underestimate Witching Pomanders. Raising Pomanders also have like an unorthodox use where, like, you know, maybe you're low on time and you want to check all these chests, but you're worried about running out of time because you like mimics, you could pop a Raising Pomander and then you could sprint. And the idea would be that you already have the Rune of Passage open, and basically you go, don't check any boxes as you're going, but go to the other end, like as far away from the passage as you can go or whatever, and then just sprint and start checking. You got your raising on, you sprint, you check the boxes, and instead of stopping to fight stuff that aggroes you, you just let it aggro you. And then if you get mimics, it doesn't matter either. And then you run to a safe spot close to the Rune of Passage, and you let yourself die. And you'll re-raise, and all the stuff, since you took it so far away from its spawn area, unless you aggroed stuff that's like right in the room with where you die, it should all just go back to its spawn area before you come back to life. So, that's a way, that's like it's kind of risky, but, and certainly not orthodox, but it's a sort of a way to get out of jail. It's something I've done before. I've told you the farthest I've made it in here is floor 89, and I timed out, at least by myself. And the way I did that was I actually had a really shitty floor 86, and basically I did that re-raise strategy that I just mentioned, and I managed to get like 2 petrifications, a magicite, and I think a steel pomander. I might witch him this wolf because he's kicking my ass. Dude, that dot is like, it's fucking brutal, man. On top of his autos, like, Jesus. If you're not on tank and you're letting one of those things hit you, you will most likely just die. This is also the point where if you're interested in the dodo mount, you can start getting stacks that are actually pertinent to getting the dodo mount. So this is as far as you need to, at a minimum, come to have a chance at dodo. And personally, I don't really care about the dodo mount, especially not on Clyde. But if we get one, we get one. And I don't think it sells too well because a lot of people do have it on high because it's more popular as a leveling instrument than House of the Dead, because you could use more of your job's toolkit. Also, people are more inclined to try to go to 100 for the solo achievement because there are less floor sets to do, right? Like, you could try to solo Heaven on High, and you could fail, in the 81 to 90 floor set range. And if you ran, again, all the way back up, that would be like going to 161 range once in Palace of the Dead. Palace of the Dead is harder for 2 reasons. Well, actually for multiple reasons. But, this might be foolish, but I'm gonna do something a little silly here. You don't need that. Raising, that could be good. Don't open that yet because we don't have enough HP. Serenity is nice, but we don't need it.
And unfortunately, we are already capped out on our weapon. So that was kind of a waste of my... that was a waste of my petrification, but oh well. I got the rune open. And we've already been here for almost 8 minutes, so it's kind of... These floors are sort of kicking our ass right now. I was hoping that the fortune pomander I popped would lead us to get some extra boxes off of all the stuff that we killed in there. It did not, so... Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, that's okay. It's gonna take you all the way to the rune room. At the very least, these, they're called no-yagis or whatever, but they're just Steinbox to me. They're not very threatening. Like, they hit pretty hard, everything is hitting pretty hard, but they don't have anything special except for their, nullifying dropkick. It's not actually a nullifying dropkick, I just like saying nullifying dropkick. Oh, Jesus. 11k crit. I swear to God, if I say it was only 10,989, I'll slap you. Just round up, motherfucker, round up. Oh look, items unavailable. This floor is almost undoable. Ow. Oh look, we can't use any potions to heal faster. Yeah, we're gonna speed ourselves up a little bit. We're just gonna use the magicite. Yeah, I don't regret it. Oh look, we got our petrification. Good. Potsherds are good. Affluence is good. This is a good floor set to try to like milk out your affluences and your fortunes. To try to not only speed yourself up, but to try to bolster up your pomander supply for the next floor set. Because, in my opinion, if you're trying to use affluences, like, only as you find them, and, like, as a way to, like, you know, try to get good pomanders for the floor set you are currently on, it's usually too little too late. Not always, but that's just been sort of my experience. I think we got debuffed again. You can tell when you hear the sound effects. Oh, yep, we did. We're blind, and there's gloom. Well... I'm just gonna... I had other pomanders I wanted to use, you damn tiger. Ah, oh, great. We got the mammoths on this floor. Mammoths are relatively dangerous. That trunk thing they do there is it'll hit you and it will debuff you if you're within the same, like within the whatever the distance for it is. I'm not really sure what the distance for it is, but the other pomanders I wanted to use is I wanted to go ahead and use a steel. I'm gonna use a frailty to oh, I also wanted to use a fortune. So with frailty in play and steel in play, we shouldn't take that much damage. Won't really cut down on our potion usage too much, because we want to keep our HP high.
It'll cut down on it a little bit though. Technically won't need to use them unless we get like debuffed by a mammoth or we're fighting more than one monster at a time. And don't know the layout of this floor. Sight might be good to use. So we can see traps. And if we have trap teleporters. But if we have trap teleporters, then we want to use the safety, so we'll just wait until we fill out more of the floor. Yeah, see, prehistoric trumpet. Okay, yeah, we just take damage from it. It's not as bad as I thought. But it's very reminiscent of the gorillas, you know. Oh, witching. Witching's gonna be nice. So let us do combat without having to worry about paying attention, at least for 30 seconds. It sucks whenever it turns into imps, though. You want, like, anything not imp. You want, like, toad, frog, or piggy. Because when they're an imp, their auto attacks still deal full damage. And that's just no bueno, you know? Okay, we do have multiple things, so before we even open one, we're just gonna go ahead and get rid of all the stupid ones. And here I'll show you fighting a mammoth, because they do some stuff that's kind of tricky. Now that conal is way wider than it looks. And it will stagger you and do a lot of damage. And like throw you up in the air and crap. So like, you don't want to fuck with it. You just want to run behind the mammoth. Alright, we got passage. Let's see if we can get this, grab this box. Intuition, huh? I don't remember these guys being particularly crazy, other than the fact that they're the snipers for this floor set. I don't think they have any enrages or anything. They don't hit particularly super hard, but they do have that conal they keep trying to do. But anytime a monster has a slow enough casting skill, it's actually a good thing for you, because it just basically, as long as you dodge it, it just gives you more time to DPS them down, and more time for your regen potions to tick up. You may be wondering about the boss for this floor set, but the boss for this floor set is actually the easiest boss in all of Heaven on High for the most part. He does hit kind of hard, and he does have a few tricks up his sleeve, but it's not like the last. It's not like the last boss, and the bosses before that were actually more difficult, so it's not that bad. Let's see. Flight, take it, take it. I think I'm like breaking the deep dungeon like code of ethics or whatever whenever I use a flight, and it's not like, and I'm not full on them or whatever. You want to silence Gold Tongue or stun it. It makes their magic absurdly powerful. Not like one-shotting you powerful, but I'm talking like his blizzards might start hitting for as high as like 25k or something. Pretty ridiculous. We can handle 2 monsters at once still. It's not too bad on this floor set. As long as, you know, we've got the steel going anyway. I kind of hate overkill, but sometimes you don't really have a choice. Like, I don't want that to be my next global, but if I lock myself into another combo, like, my timers get more screwed up. One of the things that deep dungeons and normal dungeons sort of test, and deep dungeons more than the normal dungeons because there's just so much more trash to deal with, is the fact that, like, the rotations in this game are made for static, long, like, you know, 10 to 15 minute fights or whatever. They're not made for going from monster to monster to monster, really. So there's sort of like a tempo you develop for yourself where, like, you know, you get better at the game. You can, like, you know, hold your shit or not hold your shit, and you know, build up things. Now, mammoths are actually, in my opinion, a good thing to fight in this dungeon, in this floor set, because they don't have much going for them outside of that conal. And like I said about conals before, as long as you dodge them, it's basically just free time for you to lay into them and really kick their ass. I don't remember them doing anything else that's like super crazy. Although I probably wouldn't advise fighting more than one at once. Although you could probably take more than one at once with relative ease. The only thing I don't really have experience on in deep dungeons is trying to do them on range jobs. Like true range jobs. I've done plenty on red mage. But, or attempted plenty on red mage, but, you know, casters, they have a little bit of freedom of movement, but they don't have as much freedom of movement as the ranged do. Oh hey, that's some helpful shenanigans. We also got a raising, which I'm going to go ahead and use, just because I have a tendency to be dumb. And I would prefer it if I didn't have that tendency, but yeah. I'm given to easily falling into complacency. I very much am like, okay, I'm comfortable now. There's nothing to worry about. It's like, anxious people are always worried that they're messing up or they're doing something wrong, or like, you know, they just want to bury their head in the sand if they make the slightest mistake. And like, I have my anxious moments too, but I'm very much the kind of person that's like, okay, I made a mistake. And like, unless I'm getting like a Twitter mob or like yelled at really loud, you know, it usually doesn't affect me too much. That might be surprising, the fact that like being yelled at bothers me a lot since I was in the military. I basically got sick of it in the military, and I was only in for 4 years, and it's like the most common thing that happens to you in the military is getting yelled at. Of course, you don't get yelled at if you don't screw up, but occasionally you do get yelled at even if you don't screw up because other people are screwing up, and it was your job to make sure they didn't screw up because either you were their superior or you were their, you know, you were there on watch with them, so you were also responsible, even if it was their watch station. Alright. Gonna get debuffed next floor? Yep. Please just be like reduced maximum HP or something. Nope, of course. It's a terrible floor. It's no items and you know, no, and blind. Like, why? Why would you do this to me? Son of a bitch. Hey, look, they die even if you well, we've got abilities. Oh, but but we don't have the ability to live through a luring trap, so, you know. That was unfortunate, but let's make the most of this petrification while we still can. See, that's the thing I hate about petrification versus like Manticore, because like when you have the Manticore in no, we're not gonna make it over there. Okay, when you have the Manticore in House of the Dead, you know it's you're all business. Like you're making the most of that. Like it's a minute long too as well, and obviously you can't be like reckless with it. You have to be careful, especially the higher floors. But you know it's all business. You go on being the Manticore for as long as you possibly can until it's no longer advantageous or until it runs out. And the petrification thing is like, you pop it and the advantage starts and it, like the clock's ticking, dude. Like, just imagine if I had opened the bat box instead. Oh, we got our Serenity back. At least there's that. The Horde. What was in this one? Concealment. That might actually be a little bit useful. Concealment is sort of underrated. I mean, it's both great and bad because okay, we want to go ahead and use our steel because we don't want to have to waste time backtracking for that steel. Even though it's likely that we could have like saved it for later. Oh look, there's one of the Griffins I was telling you about. If we get into a fight with that Griffin, we're gonna have to kill it in 30 seconds, or we will be killed. Which means we don't want to fight it unless we have to. I believe they aggro based on sight. I could be wrong. Oh. Okay, looks like we're fighting it. I'm gonna go ahead and use a frailty because it was we don't have all of our cooldowns, and the clock started ticking the second it aggroed us. So we are going to. Great. Feebleman trap. I believe that Winds of Winter was the thing that we're trying to avoid. And it's gonna cast it again, like, shortly after. See, they're stunnable, like, they're dealable, but if I hadn't popped my frailty, we'd be up shit creek by the hell, we'd be dead. So. God, 10k without even crits. No malice, please. No bully, Mimic. No bully. I said no bully, Mimic. See, even Mimics aren't really that bad, as long as you're only having to deal with them one-on-one, and you have all of your abilities. As long as you can stun Silence Malice, it's very nice, Oh, another Serenity. Yeehaw. Okay. Oh, we can go up. Let's just go ahead and go up. You can actually get a white Griffin mount like that from the Ananta Beast Tribe dailies. And it's not unreasonable to do those, but I have no interest in doing them on Clyde, because it would take way too long to try to show them. And this is bad. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use Petrification. Oh, look, we can already go up. Oh, we got our petrification back. How about that? Since our petrification's not quite over yet, though. See, petrification's really nice when, like, this sort of thing happens, because you get a nice, tight-knit floor like that, where, like, there's not a lot happening, and apparently the game wanted me to use the Serenity. So, this floor has had its fangs removed. Let's see, anything worthwhile over here? I'm not going to risk aggroing a Griffin just to get something that could possibly be a mimic. So, we're going to run back this way and get this other box that could also be a mimic. And, oh, those heavenly yaks, those are fairly dangerous. You want to be careful. You also want to kill them fast. They do a draw-in, and then they do a big stomp that, I don't remember if it's exactly lethal or not, but, it's lethal to most non-tanks, and I think it inflicts paralysis or heavy. They're basically the same as the Taurus, or the Aurochs, or whatever, in, floors 171 to 180 in House of the Dead. It's like the same monster skeleton even, so like, it's very sort of rough. Items unavailable, huh? Well, I'm not dealing with that. Alright, okay, I gotta use the steel. Okay, we got one more floor on this floor set. I'm gonna go ahead and use Affluence and Flight, and we might as well pop in Intuition. And, if Griffins wind up being the only thing we have to fight, yeah, I mean, they're usually not, but I've had situations before where the problem monster is the only monster that is around, and like waiting for random spawns just isn't going to work out for you. But you can see we're using like 1 to 2 sustaining potions per fight, depending on what we fight. It's pretty rough. And we're going through Pomanders like it's going out of style as well. Okay, we got a witching, so we can always witching these things. Now what's that? And we Gucci. Or mostly Gucci anyway. We'll try to cast Golden Tongue again, eventually. I'm not sure exactly how long it takes monsters to go through their full rotation to start recasting things. Sometimes it's instant, like sometimes right after they come out of stun or out of silence, they go right back to it. Yeah, what is... I guess it's also auto-attacking in addition to casting. Yeah, that's brutal. Die already, damn it. Fucking ouch. I hope that Yeti turns it around. I'd like to see what's in that. Okay, it's just a... Okay, it's a box. Alright. I'm gonna deal with this, this lion here. Come on, lion. The lions are a little bit rough because they have those extra auto attacks and the big AoE, but at least they're stunnable, and nothing they have is instant death, so not too bad. It's kind of funny, like the way you categorize monsters in here. It's like, can it instantly kill you? Yes? Okay, it's bad. No? Alright, it's like a walk in the park. Of course, that's kind of how the original Final Fantasy monsters were anyway, like the very first one. It's like, can they kill you instantly? No? Okay, well, then they're not a threat. Alright. Let's go ahead and get this heavenly tofu out of the way. Just gonna use our cooldowns to, none of that golden tongue shtick now, buddy. Lower your damage here, and I'm gonna stun your ass. Man, I never noticed that they also auto-attack. I think earlier plans only cast. Oh, Jesus. Well, you're gonna get witching. I'm gonna witching commander you. If there was a witching. Alright, you turned into a chicken, so I ain't gotta use potions. I will be using my attack up button, though. Still gotta die, because when it comes out of chicken form in 10 seconds, it's gonna immediately try to cast the thing that's an instant kill. We'll stun that. But, okay, maybe not. Maybe it's rotation reset. Alright, good stuff. And I think there was a witching right in this box, so not too bad. Although our time is getting aggressively low. Son of a bitch. Come on. You're gonna get witching too. I wish I had a choice. Deeper floors of the, or well, deeper, the higher floors. We can actually say higher because we're not going down, we're going up. But, you know, they start to really throw, like, there's so much bullshit that comes at you in these higher floors. And these griffins are some of it. Is the passage open? Can I just, like, conceal my way past these? I want to find where the passage is. So this is a huge floor. Ugh. Okay, so it's the other way. Well, it's not all bad. As long as... I'm gonna jinx myself here, but as long as this box isn't a mimic... Oh, steel. Well, that would be... How many steel do we got? We've got 3 anyway. Well... Maybe I can waste another concealment to save time. Any forms of damage will shed your concealment if you aggro mimic. If you step on a... I think you can step on traps while you're under concealment. I might be wrong, but pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure if you stepped on a trap, it would cause you to come out of concealment. Okay, well, we're gonna fight one of these things. I don't really want to, but we haven't got much of a choice. We're like right next to the room. At least they don't have that much HP compared to their size. Of course, the strength commander we have going is working wonders here. there was the draw-in. Oh, look, another concealment. How about that? Well, we can fight it. Our food ran out, didn't it? We'll put that back on shortly. A little bit concerned about this guy getting the drawing off. Might use a witching. Because they're not stunnable. Oh boy. Oh, okay, you can silence it. Never mind. You're costing me seconds, boy. Let's use an alteration. Well, that floor was a huge chunk of waste of time. We still got this floor and then the boss. Even though the boss isn't problematic, if I'm low enough on time, I might have to use Oat on the weakest boss in the entire dungeon. Ugh. Disgusting. We've got no items in Gloom. Yeah, that's not flying. I don't remember what these Yetis do at all, so... I don't remember if they're stunnable. They are. Okay, that's good. Frozen Mist. Oh, okay, they can freeze you solid, just like the second boss in Snowcloak. Way back in Snowcloak. Northerlies probably freezes you solid as well, but you can silence it, so... Hey, Safety Commander! Let's re-up our food. A little bit of determination and direct hit could save our lives. Another alteration. Okay. Well, I'd rather fight a Mimic than a Griffin, because I don't necessarily have to, use stuff on Mimics. Other than potions. Yeah, this is a lot closer than I would like it to be. I wish that had been a Magicite, but beggars can't be choosers. Of course, the passage isn't open, but at least we found it. Petrification. Hey, we might need that. Oh, look, we got Corrigans. Sweet. Kick it, kick it. I hate when my potion timer runs into that. I mean, admittedly, I probably didn't need to use a potion right like that, but it's a force of habit. Like, in the next floor set, like, pretty much everything. Well, in the next two floor sets, everything requires potions, whether you have seal going or not. Okay, passage is active. What's in this room? Silver. Well. Okay, that wasn't... I was gonna say, it's worth checking, but then we took a whole butt-fuck ton of damage, and we can't open these other silvers for a few more seconds. And, you know, not being able to open stuff for seconds just to check and see if it's a Magicite is... Which it's not, of course. Of course it's not. Alright, so... For the boss... I guess I'll refresh our strength and I'll use frailties. And hopefully we'll kill him before we run out of time. I really don't want to have to use Oath. but here he is. Kaji Gakaka? It's not a very cool name. Okay, he's got a wide cone. Got Ecliptic Bite. And this is what he does. He spawns the ice balls, which will explode, and if you are near them, they will freeze you solid. And progressively more of those icicles as the fight goes on, as far as I can remember. I might be, you know, like, in the business of not remembering things very well. But I know that this is, out of the higher floor bosses, as long as you don't get hit by his AoEs, you know, this guy is basically not a big deal. Of course, we'll see how much damage he starts doing when my steel wears off. Oh, that's like a... seconds. Might pop another one. Then again, he's already frailtied, so I don't want to waste steals. Because you noticed I tried to build up our Pomander stock while also trying to meet the time limit. And building up our Pomander stock pretty much almost didn't work because I had to use them. Yeah. And once again, the ice orbs, they use like the same algorithm as the what you call it, the orbs from the level, the floor 50 boss. They can appear anywhere in the battle circle, and as such, dicks. But basically, if he spawns them and they're close enough to you, then you want to make sure you're not near them. And that icicle, it seems to destroy some of them. I don't know if that's what causes them to burst only, or Lunar Cry causes. I guess Lunar Cry causes them to explode as well. Anyway. I'm gonna keep him frailed. Frailties are basically the equivalent of... They're like a 4-man's Lust Pomander. You can use them, you know, they're technically a little bit better than Lust as well. Because they reduce enemy attack power as well as their defense, but the defense reduction isn't quite as absurd, so they're a little more fair to the enemies, I guess. As long as we don't die, well, we won't have to use those. We've got that raising going. I'm sort of sad that I felt the need to use it, but I haven't been to sleep yet, so I just kind of don't want to take any chances. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is like the situation where you would move, right? You do not want to be getting frozen solid. Frozen solid is a death. As you can see, since our steel wore off, if I don't maintain Empyrean Potion, then he catches up on damage pretty quick, and that's even with the enfeeblement from the frailty. So, but as you can see, like, he is mostly tank and spank. Like, you could almost AFK fight this guy. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think we'll have to use any more Pomanders on him, that's for sure. I think I ought to be able to kill him by the time this frailty runs out. But I might not. Seconds to fill my bold assertion. Nope. He's at 0.9%. But at least we didn't time out of the freaking duty. And at least we didn't we didn't disconnect. It looks like we're going into the next floor set with plenty of steals. Got safety in sight. Those are not to be underrated. Witching is not. We got one serenity, kind of bad, but the first floor never has debuffs. Neither does the boss floor. So that only leaves, it only leaves 8 floors. So if we count our serenity, that's 7 floors we gotta really worry about. But 3 platinum sacks. Did pretty well. I guess this video is almost out of time for recording, considering we came down to the 5-minute wire. And I'll at least get to show you the highest reaches of Heaven on High, other than the top. I'll get to show you the last interior of Heaven on High, so that'll be nice. We also got a few Gelmoran shards. Or Empyrean potsherds, whatever. Same deal. So we restock our Empyrean potions, that's good. And were you the appraiser? Yeah, you're the appraiser. So we got some silver halo sacks, we got some gold halo sacks. I'll do the silver and platinum because the silver could have the hairstyle in it, because that's from way like when I was redoing runs. And the platinum could have the mount in it. And if we got time, I'll do the gold. But more than likely, we're gonna run out of time while these are going, because we were already pretty close to being out of time. Let's see, Grimoire of the Round. That's a Thornton weapon, but crafted so that it has like an aura. Slumber Eternal. I think we already have that Orchestrion roll. Really? Pastel purple dye? Ugh, so much for the accursed horde. Unless it's on a floor where I use a safety, probably won't be trying to get the accursed horde on the next floor sets. Honestly, the next floor set, I really just want to make it to the boss, because that would be farther than I have ever made it. And so it might be sort of a Pyrrhic victory. Like I might just blow all of Clyde's Plomanders on the wrong floor set just to go farther than I've ever gone on my own. You're supposed to try to save your, what is that? Titan? Bind up Titan? Okay, that's cool. Looks like a nice visual effect to show that. Let's see, placing this wind-up Titan on an elevated surface may compel it to knock everything else to the ground. That's cool. Flannel suspenders. Juanildo and Catarician card? Okay, whatever. Yeah, I already have Slumber Eternal. Thanks for nothing! Well, anywho. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna get some sleep now, and when I wake up, I'll probably do the other file up to floor 80, see if it makes it. And then after that, I will probably try to record one more episode. And see if our Heaven on High journey ends or continues.